So Jack Lucas, 5-time mayor of Monte Sereno, and this good-looking guy over here is Don Wimberly. And for some reason, this trail is named after you. So could you explain that, Don?
The mayor of all time, Jack Lucas, decided it should be named Wimberly Walkway because I was city administrator engineer at the time that the neighbors brought to the city council the question of should the easement for the walkway remain. And that was decided by the council at that time that it would.
So now what street are we standing on?
This is Zena Avenue.
Zena Avenue, and then we've got this thing. Now, isn't this land owned by Lucy Wiedemeyer? Tell me, what's going on here?
The land to your right, the home there is owned by Lucy and her family.
And what's this little trail? Where did this come from?
Well, this was built originally when the development that includes Lucy's home was constructed. Then easement connecting the neighborhoods was built as part of those developments. And it existed rather informally for many years.
So, well, I'm trying to figure out why you gave him this trail.
I was the mayor. I forget which term, but two neighbors came to city council. This neighbor, and it was not the Wiedemeyer family. They came to Mr. Wimberly, and they said, Mr. Wimberly, we're tired of having people walk through our land. Well, it wasn't their land. It was city easement. Could you abandon it? Don came to me and he said, Jack, I got a great idea for the next agenda. Let's get rid of the easement. Get rid of liability, maintenance, potential for hazards, vandalism. And I said, good idea, Don. That's why we hired you as the manager. And so we came to the meeting, all set to abandon it. It was on the agenda, abandon the easement. And all the neighbors from far and wide showed up at that council meeting to vote on to abandon or to keep it. Well, what do you think the council did?
You tell me.
We caved in like a cheap suit in the rain. We said we will keep it. And then shortly afterwards, maybe even the next day, I talked to Don Wimberly and I said, well, Mr. Wimberly, I'm sorry.
And did you really call him Mr. all the time?
No. Well, and he didn't call me Your Highness. So anyway, I said, Don, we went against your recommendation, which was a good one, but these guys vote for us. No, I didn't say that. But anyway, I said, but don't feel bad that we went against your recommendation. We're going to name the walkway after you. And I like alliterisms. The WW, you can see it right here, Wimberly Walkway. And we named it. And I never got that back to council. I pulled a Donald Trump and I made an executive decision, and I appointed it as the official Monte Sereno Wimberly Walkway.
Well, and you have made it such a personal walkway of the town. Tell us about what you've done to this.
Well, once we decided to keep it, we went to Don and we said, Don, we got to make it safe. And
no longer Mr.
We've got to make it safe. And so Don is a certified engineer, and I said, get some money out of, make a line item on the budget. Let's make it safe. And with you supervising it. And Don did a heck of a lot. This is the serious reason why I selected Don, and because he's the one that brought it up to code. He got fences up, and the main thing was the paving, the walkway. Anything over 15% grade, it was just too dangerous on the dirt. And jump in if I'm misquoting you.
You're doing great, Mr.
Mayor. Your Majesty. So Don was responsible for bringing it up as safe as we could. We made a promise. We, the citizens of Zena, made a promise that we would maintain it, keep it safe, not to keep it safe, but keep it clean, and which we've done off and on. Right now, the co-chair of the Zena Avenue Fine Arts Commission, Mr. Fred Nooteboom back there, and I are following a promise that we made, 35 years ago to the city, that we would keep it as clean as we possibly can.
Now, are the only people who walk on this from your street?
Oh, no, they come, they're bringing in their families now from, someone came from the East Coast to visit her daughter in Los Gatos, and they come from all over.
Once you see this trail, you'll understand why they come from all over. I mean, it's a memory lane of Monte Sereno. Let's bring Fred in here. Okay, Fred, introduce yourself. Come on by.
Hi, I'm Fred Nooteboom, and I'm Jack's right-hand man.
And you're standing on his right side, so that's good. Okay.
And also co-chairman of the Zena Avenue Fine Arts Commission. And Fred and I maintain it. We're both retired, and it keeps us out of the saloons. And
So how much were you drinking that night when you both looked at each other and said, we should be putting things on the fence that are about the town, or the city, I should say?
well, that happened on one of our fitness walks long before we did it. I found a little twig, and I'll show you that little twig briefly. And I picked it up, and I said, looks like a girl I used to date in high school, in college. And I put it on a nail on the fence. And next day we fitness walk it every day. That little twig fell off. And so I put it back up, and finally I said, I'm going to tack it to the wall. And the rest is history. And you'll find that when we go down the trail, you'll find a number 1 by that twig.
How long is the trail?
Where's the city manager isn't here?
07.
0.7 of a mile, according to our recent city manager, Steve Leonardis.
And you both wear your Monte Sereno caps every time you're on this trail?
No,
Not always.
Where do you get those great Monte Sereno hats?
City Hall.
Yeah? Yeah, they're lovely.
Go down and mention Don Wimberly's name, and
I'll get a discount.
you should get a freebie.
Well, are we ready? Come on, Pied Piper, Mr. Jack Lucas, lead us along.
Here is
That's it?
my late wife, the first lady of Monte Sereno.
The first twig.
We were in the, no, that was another girl. Francis and I were in Wimberly, Texas, and I said, stop the car. I know that gentleman. Although it's spelled differently, get a picture. And that's my card. And so that's why we got the name, the Wimberly Walkway.
Wonderful, wonderful.
And
And right here you're telling us it's 7/100ths of a mile
to Eaton Street.
to Eaton Street. So Eaton Street is the end of the trail. All
Yeah.
right.
Real quickly, I know we're not going to stop at every work of art, but you're going to see 34 pieces of art.
That you've put up, all of them by
Fred
you.
and I. Fred and I. It's a wee
Come
team.
over here, Fred. Come on. Come on, my new friend. Let's go.
You're going to see 34 works of art. We're not going to stop at every one. Feel free to leave if if you feel sleepy.
Okay.
3 compasses, correctly calibrated. We've never had anyone get lost on the walkway yet. Lots of signage. You'll see 3 former mayors, our founding father, Admiral Inglis, myself, and another mayor, an unknown mayor in his car. It's kind of like the unknown soldier. We don't know who he is, but he represents every other mayor that served Monte Sereno.
That's the way to do it politically.
We have 2 city managers, you will see. 4 famous Monte Serenans, Admiral Inglis, our founder, John Steinbeck, author, Grapes of Wrath, wrote it while he was in Monte Sereno, Thomas Kincaid, artist, and of course Billy Jones of the Billy Jones Railroad, which got its start in Monte Sereno. You'll see 6 iconic Monte Sereno seals. One of them was handmade by a starving artist and put up there. The quail and Loma Sereno.
I was going to say, where did you get all of those?
What? From twigs we picked up,
Twigs.
and plywood. In fact, the commission has a ruling that you can't put up anything that's less than 50% wood from Monte Sereno.
Seriously?
Yeah, you
I
could
like that.
if you were to come here and put a license plate up. Fred and I would take it down.
Thank goodness. The police. Okay.
6 cartoon characters. You're going to see Mickey Mouse, Orphan Annie and her dog Sandy, Popeye, his girlfriend Olive Oil, Donald Duck, and his 3 nephews.
These are all things you two men made while you were drinking. Because why else would you pick these cartoon characters? I don't know.
It should be. Someone should be drinking. You'll see 4 birds, 2 plants, 9 animals, 4 fish, 1 full body of lake, and that is plywood. It's not a twig. There are 2 flags, the United States flag and the flag of the state of Texas. Why the state of Texas? Because it's a very easy flag to make out of twigs. There'll be 3 college mascots. The gentleman just walked by and said, I was putting up a University of Texas, Bevo, the Longhorn Stallion, and he said, why isn't Cal up there? So I put a bear up there for Oski, their mascot, and the one railroad, the Billy Jones Railroad.
So we've got a long way before we get to the good stuff.
It starts at the corner.
Okay, so we are at the official start of the Wimberly Trail. And who is Sue?
Sue is a neighbor, lives across. She gave me this as a gift. This was not part of it. It was a ceramic ornament. And I told her, I said, Sue, it's got to be 50% wood. And there's no wood in this at all. So I said, but don't feel bad. We'll name it after you, and we'll put it at the gateway to the gallery. You can ring the bell when you come in.
Is this the only official trail in Monte Sereno?
We have greenbelt areas, but I think it's the only public trail.
Okay.
Yeah. And here we are. There is Don Wimberly, Jack, and our current manager, Steve Leonardis.
What else? What do you want to point out to us? I see so many wonderful things. Here's fascinating facts about.
This was in our Monte Sereno newsletter. I think it's semi-annually comes out. A story of it. It's more the story of the walkway, not so much the gallery.
I love this. Docent Tours. Call. Whose phone number is that?
Yours. That's my phone number. That's my phone number, and I will meet with anyone that wants to come down if wants to go through this.
You're great. You're great. Oh. One of the flags.
Yeah, this is a frame of an old frame I had, and this all wood from the trail. This was a piece of pine. You'll notice there are 50 stars here. So,
the quail is the city bird. Are there a lot of quail around here? Because I've been looking.
There used to be.
Where'd they go?
The cats got them. There's so many cats in the neighborhood now. I used to see them out in my front lawn, just down at the end of the street. But the cats got them.
Now, we got to mention this because I had a wonderful interview with Ron Garthwaite, who now owns the Claravelle Dairy. So I love this.
Well, Claravelle got its start in 1931 in Monte Sereno, 11-acre farm, and this was the last commercial business in the city of Monte Sereno. My daughter found this one on the trail walking, and she said, Dad, that looks like a cow. And I said, sure does. And so these were some toys from my toy box some many, many years ago. The milking stool. Mr. Peak would sit there and milk the cows.
That is wonderful. This is so far is my favorite. Giraffes in Monte Sereno? Come on, Jack.
And someone accused me, we don't have palm trees in Monte Sereno, but when you take this tour, you have to go into high gear with your imagination.
So here we are, John Steinbeck. Of course, you tell us your quick novel of John Steinbeck.
Well, John had a home, Greenwood Lane, up in the mountain area, and while he was there, he wrote The Grapes of Wrath. And he's one of 4 famous Monte Serenans. This is from Chapter 3 of The Grapes of Wrath, in which Steinbeck used a tortoise to describe the Jode family moving from the Midwest, the Dust Bowl, to California. And if you read this out of The Grapes of Wrath, this tortoise has a difficult time. And what he's comparing this to the Joad family is, it's a writer used it. It's called an allegory. So again, liking alliterisms, I named him Albert Allegory.
Wonderful. So here we have olive oil and Popeye.
Yeah, just the twigs. Now this is an example of hardware that was bolted on. This is metal. Popeye was a Democrat. He voted for Roosevelt. This came out of a political pin collection I have. I didn't have anchors for tattoos, but I did have a VTA and an American Red Cross.
And the Red Cross, I mean, that's a whole nother story, but that has roots in Monte Sereno as well.
Yes, we used to meet in their building. Yeah.
The City Hall used to be the Red Cross building.
Yeah.
Perfect. You've brought it all in.
Mascot for the University of Oregon. I think his name is Puddles, but it's Donald Duck, and these are his three nephews. I found in my political pin collection, I found Dewey, but I couldn't find an H and an L, but the three nephews were named Huey, Dewey, and Louie.
Okay, here. I think we're coming to somebody right now. Okay.
Our founding father, Vice Admiral Thomas Inglis, he and a group of naval officers, when they came out of the service, retired in Monte Sereno. It was their heaven's spot. And I say our founding father because he was the one that got us incorporated. During the Battle of Leyte in the Philippines, he was awarded the Naval Cross, the Navy Cross, for his commanding a battleship that pulled up alongside an aircraft carrier that was being bombed by the Japanese. And he had anti-aircraft guns on his ship, and he prevented the Japanese Air Force from sinking. I think it was the Franklin, the aircraft carrier. So that's why the 3 stars. He was a vice admiral.
You thought of it all.
Well, me and Google.
This is one of the newer ones, isn't it?
Yeah.
Because, yes, it looks newer.
This is the 32nd piece that went up. She was created in 1929. The artist was Harold Gray. And if you ever saw an Orphan Annie picture, she had no eyeballs. She had eyes, but I couldn't find more of these, so I put some screws in her eyes.
You outdid yourself on this one. I love this one.
Most people do, yeah. This is the Billy Jones Railroad, got its start in Monte Sereno, moved to, and there's a picture of Billy Jones. And these are the little children riding in. And if you may think they're golf tees, but use that imagination. And we're a very diverse city. We have white Anglo-Saxons, we have Asians, we have Hispanics, we have American natives, we have blacks, we have the gay folks here, and even aliens from Mars, the blue people.
The blue people.
Came down from Mars to Monte Sereno to ride the Billy Jones Railroad.
I love it. I love it.
Well, thank you very much.
Oh, my goodness. And I love the fact that everything is in such pristine condition, which means everybody who walks on this trail cherishes it.
This is number 4, yeah.
I like this one, too.
Yeah, I would say that would be the best of the bunch. I'd say my choice would be between this and the Billy Jones.
So tell us about this.
Thomas Kincaid lived up off Ridgecrest in Monte Sereno. He had a studio there. He branched out. He had studios everywhere. I cheated on this. This is not wood. It's a rock. But it looks like a Kincaid painting. He was known as the painter of light. Mm-hmm. And in every Kincaid painting, he wove in somewhere in the corner an N. And that was for his wife, Nanette.
That is amazing.
It's a rug.
Yeah.
It's a rug the same as Orphan Annie, the same as her dog.
And I love how you made his arm a paintbrush.
What can I say?
Okay, look at this one. And when was this put up? Because it almost looks brand new.
Well, this acrylic paint really holds up. It's not that new. This is the third of the mayors. You saw my picture. You saw Admiral Inglis's picture. The mayor's in his car, American-made Ford, entering the city of Monte Sereno. And That's the third mayor. He's, as most politicians, he's got his hand out the window, a la Dick Nixon, and with a flag and the city seal.
Well, we have a lot of empty boards on this fence. So what's still to come?
Well, I'm on a sabbatical leave right now. I'm taking a break.
And Fred, too?
Fred too, yes.
So tell me, I mean, not many people can say they have a trail that you put together, that
Well,
you
I
have
put
made
the
so
trail
and
together.
no,
I
well,
put
you
some-
did. You put this. Yes, we walk by it and we see all of these great things, and you say you walk it almost every day. Mm-hmm. Got to make you smile.
Okay. And this fence, the new city manager put up, he has been so cooperative. Rebuilt that. And so I couldn't name the trail after him, but Fred and I decided that we would name the fence Steve Leonardis. Now, it's kind of hard to get Leonardis on that, but this piece of wood is the tail end of this. So I named the fence
Oh, my
after our
goodness.
current city manager.
Okay, I got to get my name on this somehow. What do I have to do? I live in Los Gatos. Is that close enough?
Well,
I heard a yes.
people have asked me, can we get our names up there? Yeah.
I think we could do a fundraiser for the town, right? You could sell bricks or placards or something.
Fundraiser for the chairman of the Zena Avenue Fine Arts Commission.
That's the best idea yet.
This rail went in, it was the beginning of COVID.
Oh.
And that's when the project started, is when this railing went in. And it didn't go in down below, but Jack walked up to the contractor and he says, "Do you think you can complete it down to the street?" And he says, "Well, I'll talk to the city." And I would say within 2 weeks, they started it and put the finishing touch on.
So I guess is this the official entrance of the Wimberly Walkway?
From the downhill side. It
So
is.
exactly where are we?
This is Eden Lane, which connects the newer neighborhood with the historic neighborhood of Zena Avenue.
And when did this sign go up? It's a gorgeous sign.
It is a gorgeous sign.
And it's got a great name on it.
Well, putting that aside, the mayor has his ways and his influence. And it suddenly appeared one day after he asked permission to put my name on it.
You were not city manager at the time, right? This is days long. What years were you city manager?
From 86 to 90.
So did you ever think that you would have your name on an official sign?
Never. In fact, I worked hard to keep my name out of the headlines. Not always successful, but
How many pictures of this sign do you have up in your home?
very few.
But you do have some.
My daughter thinks it's great.
It's great. When did you start putting these things on the fence?
Well, when COVID.
So really, this whole thing started at COVID. Oh, I didn't.
All we could do was just walk. We couldn't go anywhere, really.
I did not know that.
Yeah.
When did the easement go in?
Incorporated in 1957.
So this easement is that old?
Yes.
But you just during COVID, what did you guys drinking again? And then did you say, what are we going to do to fill our time? I mean, how did you come up with this idea?
Just the lady on the fence.
Yeah. the little twig.
The little twig. We call
Yeah,
her a lady.
we put that little
Two
twig
little
up
legs.
You two are wonderful. Fred and Jack.
Yeah.
I mean, you know what? You ever go walking down this trail, you think of these two men. So I got to thank you two for taking us on this tour. I mean, this is Monte Sereno, if you ask me, at its finest, because you have so many things that are so important to the city and to the residents.